Hello, and welcome back to the Secret Dungeon Podcast.
You know, I thought you was gonna do like
Same thing I did last time?
yeah, or something similar to it. And I was
Nah,
like,
dog. We
bruh.
over here cracking open cold ones with the boys.
Did you wait
I waited.
specifically for that?
Yeah, I did. Crack open some chalky maki for you.
Some chalky maki,
Mm-hmm.
bro.
That's street slang for chocolate milk for all the kids who ain't in the know.
I don't think
It's
there's
that chalky
any
maki.
kids saying chalky maki.
I'll say chalky maki. Welcome back to the Secret Dungeon Podcast, where I'm your host, Cheney, and with me as always, Corey.
Hello, hello.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing all right, dude. You saying chalky maki made me think of takoyaki, and it made me want some Kamado ramen.
Man, that sounds
Dude,
lit.
don't that sound so good?
Shout out to Komodo Ramen out in Huntsville.
Kamado?
I don't care. They're good.
You're calling it like Komodo dragon. It's not.
The name throws me off a little bit because I do think Komodo, but it's Kamado.
Mm-hmm. I think I knew at one point in time what it actually meant, but I can't remember.
Good ramen is what it means to me.
Yeah.
That's the universal language it speaks.
Yeah, we used to, like, anytime the boys went out, we would go to 88, and then...
I turned y'all on to the ramen shop.
Oh, yeah, now we're like, yo, y'all want to go to
Y'all want to go
ramen?
get some ramen?
Every now and then we'll shake it up and go to Old Faithful, but...
Yeah.
But Kamado Ramen's just good, dude. Plus, they got Kung Fu Tea right next to it.
I think my favorite thing to do at 88 is play What's in the Ceiling.
Yeah.
That's
no,
my
it's
favorite.
not. It's not at 88.
I know,
when that
it's
happened.
the Asian market next
Yeah,
to
it's
it.
the
It's
Asian
where it
market next to it.
originated, but let's face it,
You know what
that's
I
all in
just
the
thought
same
about?
place.
It's
What?
like, is that Asian marketplace gonna like get shut down
I don't know.
with the tariff stuff?
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't think about that.
Their stuff is probably literally all export. It's probably
Yeah,
all
most of it. Yeah, pretty
I
much
doubt
all it
there's
is.
any kind of like United States manufacturing. For
So,
that.
for context, not the tariffs. For context, What's in the
Hold on, I'm moving
Ceiling?
my mic just a little bit.
Oh, you good? We played a game. We went into an Asian market one time,
Yeah,
and something was like rustling around in the ceiling.
golly, dude, it was so much.
It was
dude.
it was very erratic
Yeah.
and worrisome. And so I kind of made a game show out of it. It was like, what's in the ceiling? So that's the reference to that one.
Dude, it was like the drop tiles like what we have in here.
Oh yeah,
And
something
they were
was
just
definitely trying.
vibrating. Dude.
Yeah.
It was like something was trying to get out.
Something was trying to get out.
Dude, what if it was a person and we're just been sitting here laughing at somebody
What's
trying
in
to
the
get
ceiling?
out for years?
Jimmy.
Yeah, dude, that'd be so bad. That'd be so bad. Well, I've
Oh.
been playing a lot of Oblivion here in
Yeah.
the past few days.
Yeah. Oh, so the Oblivion remastered has dropped.
Yeah.
Shadow dropped on all of us.
Literally was just like, wow, this announcement trailer just a few days after it got leaked that they were probably working on it. Here's an announcement trailer showing you that, yes, we have been working on it. And guess what? It's available right now.
No. Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, dang.
I have no time.
Yeah, everyone's like, huh? And so, like, everybody's been playing Oblivion here recently.
Yeah, I haven't started it or bought it yet. That doesn't mean I'm not going to. I'll definitely get it.
You want to get it physical, which I completely understand.
I would like to get it physical, but it's not even on Amazon, bro.
I don't know that they're gonna like.
I don't know if it's gonna be on physical
Okay, so I see them putting it on physical
eventually.
but I think I wouldn't be surprised if they don't do it at all.
I'm
And this
starting
will be
to
like
wonder.
the first time that they really truly
Just went digital.
went
only.
full digital, because it's like the one of the big draws of it. I don't know if you caught this, was Games Pass. It's on Games Pass,
Oh, okay.
and that's like $15 a month,
Yeah.
and you can just get it,
Right.
And then then you have it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's like a big draw for that, and that's already like a big push for digital, and so it makes me think.
Yeah.
that
It's
I'm like,
not. It's on.
I could see it going 50-50. I'm leaning they either put a physical or it's digital only.
I don't know. I mean, since they shadow dropped it, they did say that you could find it at Walmart and GameStop. I went to a Walmart, I went to a GameStop, and I've also checked on Amazon, and I can't find it physically nowhere. So
I wonder if it's like on eBay. Like that would be your.
I don't know.
That'd be your true. Well, let's.
That sounded quite disgusting. While you look that up on eBay, let me reminisce about Oblivion. It's good. Play it. You're an idiot if you don't.
Yeah.
Nah, it's Elder Scrolls. What is it? 4, I think, or 5.
Oh, it's 4.
Yeah. It's Oblivion remastered. They took a game from 20 years ago, remastered it. It's really cool. It's a fantasy RPG game. If you've been living under a rock like I have been, go check it out. It's fun. It's really fun. I kind of wanted you not seen it on eBay either.
Dude, everything that I'm seeing is custom case replacements with no disc.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do physical.
But the thing is
They did say, though, that you can find it at Walmart and GameStop.
Or maybe they said that you will be able to find it at Walmart.
And maybe that's what we didn't
because
hear.
it kind of got dropped on Tuesday, and today's Thursday. You know what I mean? Which we should have recorded this Tuesday. We was both here watching the announcement, but dang, here we are.
Dang, here we are late again.
Yeah. Not late. It's still Thursday. This thing will be uploaded on Thursday.
Thursday?
So.
I thought it was Snoresberries.
But
I went to GameStop yesterday and it wasn't there.
yeah.
I went to Walmart Tuesday.
Did you ask him whenever you should have asked him? I bet you didn't ask him, did you?
At GameStop?
Yeah.
I didn't even see it.
You should have asked them if they were going to get it, like, at all.
I didn't think about it because
They would know before Walmart would.
So can I just... GameStop is a merchandise store, which we were just talking about this, like, literally before we turned the mics on.
Yeah.
GameStop is, like, not...
It's not a game store
It's not
anymore.
a game store
it's like
really
game
anymore.
merchandise.
It's
now.
a merchandise store that now sells games.
It's kind of sad to see the fall of a Titan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dude, like, the midnight releases back in the day, it used to be so stinking good.
Dude. That was tight.
It used to be so good. I remember the last one that I ever went to, and if I'm not mistaken, this is the only one I ever got to go to.
Really? I've been to a couple midnight releases.
That
was fun.
I want to say I've been like the next day to get several things, but like the culture around midnight release and stuff,
That was fun.
was dope.
Bring it back. Bring it back.
You know, and but it was also because like as I was getting married and was able to have my own disposable income to go and buy games and stuff, that was already on its way out, and so it's like, Fallout 4 is getting a
Oh, I ended up getting the deluxe edition that came with the Quantum Soda.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know you got that.
Yeah, I got that.
What happened to the soda? Did you drink it? Or did you sell it? Did you sell
I think I sold it. Which
Fallout 4 really wasn't that great.
After playing Fallout 4, I cared less about the soda. I was just like, this sucks. I don't care about the soda no more.
Yeah.
So, I don't believe I drank it. Which, if you want to know what it tastes like, it's the Jones. It's actually the Jones soda.
Really?
The blueberry lemonade flavor. That's actually what it is.
Huh.
Yeah, it's everywhere online.
I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah, I reckon Jones kind of like helped them with that.
And see, they used to do cool stuff like that with their releases, like video game releases.
I'll tell you something else I got that was super dope. When Skyrim came out, I got the Alduin statue.
Yeah.
Me and Clint both did.
Yeah.
It was sick.
Yeah, I hate you for that.
I wish I still had it.
He still has his, don't he?
I believe so.
Or at least he had it for a long time.
He had it for a while. He's got some cool stuff. Clint does.
Yeah.
He's got some stuff I wish I could buy off of him.
See, there's like the things like that we used to be able to get with like pre-orders and stuff. I think that's the same thing.
I miss pre-orders, yeah.
I think that's the same thing that brings the hype around Kickstarters, and people like the little Chotsky stuff.
Yeah.
And if you think of it in that sense, on one sense, like from the creator sense, it's like, it's just gonna like eat into your profits for like your next thing.
But
like on the consumer sense, it's like they like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
They do.
And so like it kind of makes me think. I'm literally, this realization is really kind of hit me right now. It's like, well, I want those things.
We should probably do those.
So
things.
maybe we should probably do those things.
Might make more money.
Things. At least have more people get interested in the product, or in the project itself.
Sure.
Because like that would, the more interest that you have in a project, the more repeat customers that you'll have. Because you can bank that you'll probably have about 40 to 50% retention or whatever, and that's pulling that straight out of my rear end.
Yeah,
You know?
it's just like making those Chotsky thing. I can't talk today.
Yeah.
I just got back from a field trip where children were screaming bloody murder.
Oh, that's fun.
A kid broke her ankle.
Sick.
I could strangle children for free.
Huh?
As a business, I hate screaming children.
Yeah.
And they are blood curdling screaming the whole time.
Yeah, that.
So I'm like, my nerves are a little shot right now.
Yeah, that shoots my nerves too. Whenever, like my kid goes.
I'm not
around
a violent
screaming.
person, but God, please stop screaming.
Yeah, please just stop.
Oh God.
But yeah, I mean, we kind of jumped topics so fast through here.
Woo!
But
Buckle up, ladies.
back to Oblivion, because I didn't want to talk about this for a little bit.
It's fun and it looks good.
The jank is still there.
Is it really?
Yes, but it's like it's the charm of it.
What's janky about it?
Okay, so I never got to play Oblivion realistically back in the day. I had a couple brief little stints with it. Like I played the opening one time on PC.
Yeah.
Maybe I played through it twice, but then I never really got past that.
Look, how far are
But-
you?
Well, hold on. I played the crap out of Morrowind and I played the crap out of Skyrim. It's just I somehow passed over Oblivion. So this is my true first soiree adventure into Oblivion.
Yeah.
So I'm not new to Elder Scrolls by any
You're
sense
just
of
new
the
to
word.
this particular
I'm
game.
new to Oblivion, and so I was actually like really excited. I'm like, yo, the old one's kind of like jank, and so
Which was fun.
which was like, part of the charm of it, which that's the part of the charm anyways for the Bethesda games, even though I do have issues with Bethesda and how they've been going. I realize that it started with Skyrim, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, we're talking about Oblivion today.
So with Oblivion, I'm only like level 3 or 4,
okay.
which is it takes a long time to level up in Oblivion.
Oh yeah.
Like it takes a long time.
Oh yeah.
But I can definitely tell it leans more towards the Morrowind style. You can definitely tell it's a bridge between Morrowind and Skyrim as
Yeah.
far as like the leveling system.
Supposed to, yeah.
And I want to say maybe I preferred Morrowind's leveling system a little bit better, but I like the skill trees of Skyrim.
Is that in the Oblivion remaster? Kinda.
Not that I can tell.
Is it more
I
like
don't think so. Like
Okay.
whenever you're brand new to a game and like you scroll through the menus and it still looks like Greek to you
yeah?
for a little while, it's starting to look less like Greek, and I'm starting to like understand
up
what I'm
on
looking at. Yeah,
I'd probably pick it up and be like, oh yeah, this was here, this was there, this was here, this was there.
you would
Because
because
I beat the game.
right.
I put like over 100 hours in that sucker.
Like the mini games and whatnot, I greatly prefer Oblivion's lockpicking mini game.
It's fun.
to Skyrim's mini game.
It's fun.
It's actually like a timing base.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It is fun.
That's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like whenever I get to lockpick, I'm like, oh, sick.
Yeah.
You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's like-
lockpicking. You feel like you're actually lockpicking.
yeah, and you're actually like, oh, this is fun, instead of like Skyrim where you're like, great, now I got to angle. All right, where is it? Okay, angle of this one.
Yeah,
this
you
way.
gotta have the
Start spinning.
materials,
All right,
whatever.
All right, it broke. All
Or
right,
you
hold
just
on.
have a key. You just have a
Yeah.
key in Oblivion and you just kind of go with it.
Yeah, and then like you have in Morrowind, it was literally just like you would hit the button and then you would see an animation of an arm go out and like
Do a jiggle.
jiggle, and it would say like lockpick unsuccessful or something like that.
Oh, that's lame.
Dude, Morrowind was extra jank, but it came out on the original Xbox.
yeah,
so you gotta.
That's when like a lot of like original Xbox games, man. If there's some, and there are some that really stood out and
Yeah.
played well. But man, I'll get into that later.
Yeah,
Cause I played Jet Set Radio Future the other day. Ooh, I don't know how I beat that game either.
really, it's rough.
Compared to Bomb Rush Cyberpunk,
Yeah.
100%.
Really,
It's rough.
it's crazy how
It looks great.
yeah.
Plays horrible.
It's crazy how like back in the day we play games where like I spent hours, hundreds, I would even say hours in Morrowind, right?
Yeah.
And if I went back and played it, I'd be like, "This.
What was I
is-
doing?
What was I doing? Why did I play this?" This was
Why
awful.
was my time wasted?
Well, see, like that was my first real trip into true role playing games,
Right.
Because, like, you can argue that some games are role playing games. They're not. They're not role playing games. If I can't make my character, it's not a role playing game.
If you can't customize,
Yeah.
It's not really role playing now, is it?
I mean, it's an adventure game.
Yeah.
It's like you can't
Or an
call-
adventure action game.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But with Oblivion, I made a wood elf because I like wood elves.
Really?
Lot. Yep.
They eat their dead. You're sick. I hate you.
Cool. Yummy.
Yummy.
Did they really eat their dead?
Yeah.
Where did I miss out on that lore?
Bruh, let me go ahead and tell you, because I'm a veteran. I know a bunch of lore about Oblivion. It's in the books. Read the book.
It's in the books.
It's all in the books.
Okay.
Read.
Yeah,
the books are where the lore
the
is
thing
at.
is I'm too old to read the books now. I used to, but now I'm just like, book. All right.
No,
go.
I'm not talking about like out here real
No,
life.
I'm talking about in the game. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they have like a bunch of in-game books, and I'm just like, man, I ain't got time for all that now. But
Hey, there's some good reads in there.
Yeah.
Dude, I kid you not. There's some books that are like 30 something pages, and I've like read all of them.
I used to read.
I used
like,
to
in
collect
Skyrim
the
and
books.
stuff. Yeah.
I used to actually collect every single book,
Yeah.
like a copy of every book, and read it front to back in game.
That's pretty cool.
That's where I got like a lot of my knowledge. Yeah, wood elves actually eat their dead. And they like worship their ancestors and crap.
Well, that's not like
But they eat their dead.
abnormal. The first part is.
Yeah,
The second part's not abnormal. The first part's abnormal.
They eat on their ancestors' death.
Yeah. Huh.
Which is creepy.
Kind of metal.
Kind of metal, really.
Yeah. But I played a wood elf, and of course, the meme is you play an archer, but I've always played an archer in those games. I've always played a stealth archer, and I thought about, just trying to branch out and trying some more like magic stuff or
The magic's
some
really
melee
good.
stuff. So to the part where I've already went and closed the first Oblivion gate.
In Kvatch?
Yeah, I've already done that.
Nice. How was it?
That was really cool.
It was neat?
Yeah, that was super cool.
Did you like it?
Yes.
Did it hook you?
Oh, man, I was hooked already just because it looked good.
Now you have to close all of them.
It's nice to have an Elder Scrolls game that made me feel the way that Elder Scrolls used to make me feel.
Yeah.
Because, like, if I go through and play Morrowind, I've put my time in that game.
Yeah.
I don't care about it anymore.
Correct.
If I go and play Skyrim, I put my time in that game.
Who
I
cares?
don't care about it anymore.
Yeah. Oblivion's different, man.
Oblivion is like getting that brand new experience again, and so it actually has me interested in playing it.
Yeah.
And y'all are right. The side quests are better.
Oh, yeah. The side quests are 100 times better.
So I got the Emperor's illegitimate son to like that keep.
Mark? Is it Mark?
Martin.
Martin.
You're close. To like the keep on the mountain, and then I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, this seems like a good time to go and just gallivant.
Yeah.
So I've just been kind of gallivanting around and whatnot.
There's some weird stuff in
And
Oblivion,
I
bro.
found, actually, I did this before I even got to the Oblivion Gate. But I found like this shack where there was a dude who like wrote a letter in there saying that he's gonna go and make an offering to the sunken one.
I was
all
about
that.
to bring that up.
Yeah.
That's in Breville.
Yeah, and
It leads you to Breville.
no, it's in Kvatch. It's like right there next to it because of what happens to Kvatch. He believes that he can appease the sunken one,
Yeah.
and it's actually just like an ice atronach.
There's
or
another
whatever.
side quest that deals with them, though. They call them the Deep Ones in Breville. Not Breville. What is the name of that town? It's like down south, but it's above Leyawind. How do I remember all this? I don't know.
is the sunken one actually different than? Because I thought it was just an atronach, like an atronach,
Something like that.
something. Yeah.
There's okay, so there's like this town. It's above Leyawind. It's down south, like south of the Ivory City.
Yeah.
I think it's Breville, but I might be really wrong about that name. But anyway, it's a town, small town, and like everyone's part of a cult. and they all worship the deep ones.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's actually like pretty cool.
There's some weird stuff in Oblivion, dude.
I've started. So I went through that whole quest line. That was pretty cool.
And you can also do the side quests where you can get. There's like 20 of them, like Daedric princes and princesses.
Yeah,
and you can like get their stuff. And some of those quests are really funny.
Yeah, I wanna go through and do all those too, because I enjoyed those quests in Skyrim, and I know that Skyrim's hot garbage compared to Oblivion. But the side quests are better. That's absolutely right. Like I went through and I did this one where I did this one today where there was a merchant in town who was getting his goods for extra cheap. Turns out that the person who was supplying them was grave robbing the goods and whatnot. And I'm like, dude, okay, so this is actual good quest writing.
Yep.
You know, and so I'm like, I'm gonna have to take a lot of notes from Oblivion. And so that's kind of the other hand of it, is where I'm like, I'm about to take a ton of inspiration from this.
Oblivion was my first true RPG game.
Yeah.
And that's where I get a lot of inspiration from. And that's why I really want to go back and play it again.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I wanted it on PlayStation, so I can have it on my PlayStation.
Yeah.
I may just digitally download it.
My computer does kind of have a hard time running it.
Yeah.
But it's because I have just a 2060 Super in it. Like the rest of my computer's nasty.
Yeah.
But whenever I built it, it was during a chip shortage, and so I just like bought something as a placeholder.
Yeah.
And you can definitely tell it's holding it back.
Right.
Yeah, because I went and did like the high settings just to see what like the lighting and all that. Like it's crazy, but I have to set it on low, and it's
otherwise you're like glitching the whole way.
Yeah, I'm like 10 frames per second. Now I'm like locked in between 30 and 40.
Ooh.
So, and I don't have any of the crazy lighting effects or anything. My draw distance is garbage, and so like I'm walking and grass is spawning around me and stuff.
It might surprise you.
That's not the jank that I'm talking about, though.
Ooh, I want to hear the jank.
Like, what was you saying?
I was just gonna say you might be a little surprised what I plan on doing when I do the Oblivion remaster.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about maybe doing stealth and magic.
That would be interesting.
Oh yeah. I did a character once.
Like a stealth mage?
Yup.
Yeah.
Like a rogue mage or whatever you want to call them. But
yeah,
I'm thinking about going with Argonian because they're kind of busted.
Really?
They don't get poisoned. They can breathe underwater. There's a lot of stuff under the water.
Yeah.
And Lizard Man.
I did Argonians before in Morrowind, just for that water breathing is so nice.
Very, 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 very nice.
It's very nice.
I say poison. You can't contract many diseases as an Argonian.
So you're resistant to a lot of disease as a wood elf too.
Yeah. I think a lot of the southern races are kind of resistant to disease.
Yeah.
But it's boring playing as a human. I want to play Lizard Man.
Like, I do kind of respect playing as a Nord. But I want to play as like something else.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna play as a Nord, you might as well be a barbarian.
Yeah,
really. Which there are mages in Oblivion that are Nords, but like you'll see a mixture of everything in there, and that's cool. That's the cool part.
What I have, what I really wanted to share with you though is that I've started the Dark Brotherhood quest line.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh yeah, baby.
Get ready to have some fun.
It's actually like really cool. I went and killed a bunch of pirates.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was,
is that the first or second mission? For the Dark Brotherhood.
That one's I think the first one. You hide in a crate and you get smuggled on board. And all that stuff.
Yeah. There's some good stuff in Oblivion, dude. It's a good game. And, it's like a Dark Souls that Bethesda made, but it's not Dark Souls at all. It's just a good fantasy RPG.
So what's Dark Souls about it?
There's some dark stuff in there.
I got you.
In that aspect.
I got you.
That and it's fantasy.
Yeah.
That's really it.
I remember like I think it was like last night, maybe. Was it last night or this morning? No, it was last night. We had a buddy who was asking about Oblivion because he had never played anything like it. And he's like, compared to Elden Ring. And I was like, apples to oranges, both fruit, but taste completely different. You know,
Yeah, that's two totally different games.
because it's like they're two completely, two completely different styles.
Yeah,
And he was like, "Well, can you have like a big bonk stick in it? You know, because that's our thing with the Souls games. Like we like big stick." And we're like, I said, no, this is not that kind of game.
Not really.
I was like,
not really for Elder Scrolls.
I was like, this is less Berserk and more Game of Thrones
There you go.
style fantasy.
There you go.
Especially Skyrim. Skyrim's definitely inspired by Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But it's more traditional.
It's more traditional medieval
Eastern fantasy.
Yeah,
No,
like,
Western fantasy. Western fantasy.
Yeah.
It's more traditional in that sense.
Right. It's more European, if anything.
To me, I'll even go as far as to say this. Like Lord of the Rings, yes.
Yep.
But Elder Scrolls is more my basis for what fantasy is.
Yeah.
And
like when I think of traditional fantasy, I honestly think of either Lord of the Rings or Oblivion.
Yeah.
Oblivion for the video game media, Lord of the Rings for like movie and books media.
Yeah. Like that whole sandbox thing, it's very, very inspiring as a tabletop creator of like what to do, because we've got a game that's been in the works for a while. I don't want to like say anything about the name of it, but it's more of a like an OSR style game, and it really makes me want to go and just start making a bunch of sandboxes for that game to be played in, because like you could play it in that game, also Shadow Dark or any other kind of, you know, whatever.
I can't wait to start getting into the DLC of Oblivion Remastered.
Which I didn't even buy that yet. I'm just like, let me play the base game for a while.
Good man. 'Cause you're going to be in there for a while.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm probably going to go ahead and just get it all at once. Just be done.
Yeah.
But
dog, just go ahead and buy it. Just go ahead and get it. You don't even know if they're ever going to do a physical, and you don't know if.
Well, that's what I'm
if you'll be
saying.
able to
That's what I'm
find it.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I doubt they'll do. If they do come out with physical, I'll get it then.
Yeah.
But just to have like collection on.
Version,
just the physical on my shelf. But I probably will go ahead and get it digitally for my PlayStation and just start playing with so I can start playing it with you and whatever.
Yeah.
So we can compare and notes or whatever. But I'm excited. I'm really excited about Oblivion.
I'm kind of interested to see what the mod community is going to do with it too.
Oh, it's going to be hecka crazy. Because they were doing crazy stuff at the end of its life cycle.
Yeah.
Like when Skyrim came out, the Oblivion community really picked up.
Yeah.
I remember. And, dude, you could get all kinds of like mods, which is tempting to get it on PC for those same mods because I'm going to keep this pretty PG, but the mods are not. The mods are not very PG. The mods were very, what's the word?
So, anyways,
yeah, yeah, we'll just leave that right there.
The one thing about like having
but
the
there's
Elder
also
Scrolls
some cool
games,
stuff in there too. Go ahead.
right? But with having like the Elder Scrolls games on PC, one of the things that I find extremely appealing is the cheat menu.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I love that stupid thing.
Yeah,
because it's just so goofy, and you can just do all kinds of crazy stuff with it.
Yep.
You can like turn off your collision to where you can just like start walking up in the air and whatnot. And then, of course, you can toggle God mode and all that stuff.
Have you ran into Moon Sugar yet?
No, I've heard them talk about skooma. I have heard them say stuff about skooma.
Yeah, that's Moon Sugar.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a side quest you'll be very interested in that involves a lot of Moon Sugar in the sky.
Just the different and the what?
Oh yeah.
And the sky?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
You start so like back in the Xbox 360 days, me and Clint one time ate a bunch of like 100 skooma at once, and we were flying across the map. Yeah, dude. Yeah. You run so fast, you just start leaving the ground. It's amazing, dude.
It's just
so
straight
good.
up crack cocaine.
It's just crack, dude. I'm going around.
And so it does make you wonder, because I'm not super far into. You could say I'm probably like 10, 15 hours into the game.
Yeah, which is nothing.
Which is nothing for one of those kinds of games.
No.
Those are like 200-300 hour games, easy.
Easy.
You know?
That's not even including the DLC either.
No.
That's like another 50 hours per DLC.
Yeah.
Sheogorath and or the Shivering Isles, and I can't remember the name of the other DLC. Anyway, keep going.
With this though, and I'm like sitting here playing through it, and I see the care that was put into, and I'm not talking about the remaster game design. I'm not talking about the game design. I'm talking about just the quest design, the writing of it, just the sheer writing of it.
Oh, there's a lot of care went into it.
The care that went into it. I'm just like, what happened?
I don't know.
What happened to
Oblivion was like one of the, I don't want to say one of the last of the good AAA games, but it's one of the
last.
One of the last for sure.
With Bethesda, of course, they also make the Fallout series.
And I liked Fallout 3.
I liked Fallout 3, and a lot of people act like that one's super repetitive.
It is.
Now, New Vegas is leaps and bounds better than Fallout 3.
That's one I've not played yet.
Yeah, it is. It is in fact leaps and bounds better.
I believe
like
it.
Compared the two.
It's the Oblivion of the Fallout series.
Yes,
which I believe.
Whenever it comes to just sheer Fallout 3, there's still a lot of care in it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even still, I can't compare New Vegas to Oblivion because Bethesda didn't make New Vegas.
It was Obsidian.
It was
Rock?
Obsidian did it.
Or Obsidian? Yeah.
Obsidian did it.
I'm thinking of Turtle Rock for some reason.
No.
They made Evolve.
Yeah.
Which could have been a good game.
It should have been a good game.
Should
Everybody was we were so hyped for that game. But I'm comparing themselves to themselves, right?
Yeah.
The care that went into Oblivion and knowing that Fallout 3 came out around that same time, it's like the care was still there, but it's almost like they didn't quite know what to do with it. And then you see New Vegas, and they were like, bam, this game's awesome.
And then they put out
4, and it's like it's just a repetitive garbage match.
It's a reskinned different story version of 3.
It's basically just 3. It's basically just 3 in a new setting. And,
pretty much.
And
the 4 is garbage.
And it's hot garbage. And I'm like, I was super excited for Fallout 4 because I'm a huge Fallout fan.
I wasn't as big into Fallout. I liked Fallout 3. I had a good time, but it just wasn't the same for me. Oblivion really took my heart.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I ran with, which I'm more of a fantasy guy anyway.
I think New Vegas would change your mind.
New Vegas probably would.
There's the level of heart and care into the quest writing is the same that I feel from Oblivion.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And to me, I'm just like, what happened to care going into the writing of the games? Because it's obvious that care goes into the looks of the games now. Because games nowadays look crazy.
Yeah.
They look really good.
Yeah.
But then you start playing it, and it's just like,
what happened?
This is boring.
All the money obviously went to the graphics.
Yeah, it's like you look at Starfield, and everyone acts like Starfield is just the same quest over and over. Like, it's just repetitive, boring garbage. And I'm like, that's not...
That's why Oblivion is so good, dude. It's because, like, every side quest you do is different, and it's unique, and it's weird, or fun, or it's charming, or it's just... It's really hard to put your finger on it, but they obviously spent a lot of care and a lot of time to the writing of Oblivion. With the side quests, the main quests, the guilds... the way that the world is set up, it's just good.
With just the writing in itself, it's really inspiring to me to really want to step up my game.
Yeah.
To as a writer in general, for not just as a game designer, because there's two different, like there's game design and then there's quest design.
Yeah, that's
those are
totally
two
different
completely
departments.
different things.
Yeah,
and it kind of makes me want to be like, okay, it makes me want to really bring it for for some stuff, and then
like realms or whatever,
realms and whatever we decide to put out, because that's what makes you remember a game.
Oh yeah.
is the adventures that you have in a game, and that not necessarily for adventure fantasy. That's just for a game in general.
Oh yeah.
Is your adventure,
The genre don't matter.
The genre don't matter. No, it's the just what you do in the game that makes it memorable, and that stems back down to good writing.
Yeah.
You know. Sometimes gameplay can have
negative connotations
no,
to.
that's not what I'm trying to say. Like it can make you remember things, but that's more so for stuff like Minecraft.
Yeah.
To where the entire game is built around gameplay.
Right.
But whenever it comes to an adventure game, the writing is where it really takes the cake for you. That's why it's like Majora's Mask has better writing in some cases than Ocarina.
Yeah.
Because, with them having a smaller sandbox to play in, they can spend more time making the quests and stuff
more memorable.
Yeah. Like having a memorable quest is what's going to leave that impression more so. And so it kind of like, whenever you're trying to design a game and you're trying to come up with like roll tables and stuff like that, that is to help a game master make a memorable session.
Yeah.
But whenever you're writing an adventure, that's a whole different angle that you have to like take and look at it.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, it really, really makes me want to step up my quest writing for stuff.
Yeah.
Cause like, even this afternoon, I'm planning on, streaming on Twitch.
Yeah.
Which this won't be live. Well, it will be live, but they probably won't get to that point. But,
right.
This afternoon, I'm going to be streaming on Twitch for a while. And I'm going to be writing an adventure, just a 5-room dungeon for a Shadow Dark project, a third-party Shadow Dark project.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing that, and then also working on an Extinction Game Master toolkit on stream. And so for that Shadow Dark project, it makes me want to really, try to bring it, even though it's just for 5 rooms. What can you do to make it memorable in such a short amount of time? Because you can think of it like this: a 5-room dungeon is exceptionally small.
Oh yeah.
Exceptionally small. But a dungeon is an entire session.
Yeah. Should be.
And there's hours of content that's going to come out of an entire session. You can bank anywhere from 2 to 4 hours worth of content that's going to happen. And so, like, what I need to think is that what can I add to this that's going to fill out a session or cause them to go in a direction that they can return to and all that stuff. Because, like, with the way that adventure is going, I wrote one already for it called Goblin Bones. And I tried to make that one memorable. And I'm satisfied with the way that one turned out, because that was more of a well, I'm not going to get into that. And then this other one, though, the first one being more combat oriented, I kind of want this one to be a little bit more role play oriented.
Yeah.
At the same time, with the possibility of combat, I want it to be able to go 50-50. Right, because it's tied to an enemy that I think only speaks like Celestial or Elemental. And so I don't know if anyone's really going to be able to talk to him.
Never know.
But if they are able to talk to him, I want it to be memorable in a role-playing sense.
Make it weird.
Yeah, I don't want to make it weird, And so I got to think of it from 2 different angles, and I only have 5 rooms to do it in.
Right.
And so it kind of, that excites me that I have that constraint, because to me, I feel like the best art comes from constraint, not from a full wide open breadth, like breadth to whatever.
Yeah.
Of the more tools you have at your disposal, the idea would be that, I can do more things. Not so. The less tools that you have, the better you can make it, because
make it more unique.
You can make it more unique because of what you have access to. I can put all of my heart and soul into what I have.
Right.
Right. And that it kind of goes into a big thing with art, and then with game design, and this, video games, tabletop, and whatnot, and just anything that anyone does creatively. We're going back into the creative discussion that we had last time. Do you agree with that sentiment, though?
With, like, it...
Less tools equals better art? Or equals better creativity? Or more creativity? Because
I think what it does is it forces your brain to think outside the box and be more creative.
Yeah.
In a sense,
yeah.
yes. Does that work for everybody? No.
Yeah.
So it's one of those you just kind of have to be careful with, because with some people, you put too many restrictions on them and they just can't.
Yeah.
It's like a puzzle that they can't figure out.
Right. Say like with that exact thing you just said, right?
Yeah.
With the thumbnail that we use for the YouTube videos, is two goblins talking, one of them smoking a cigarette.
Yeah.
I animated that.
Yeah.
And I did that on Procreate on the iPad.
Yeah.
Now there's another application on iPad called Procreate Dreams, but I haven't fully figured that one out yet.
Right.
I've had a lot of other stuff going on, and I'm like, I know Procreate, I'm just going to do that one first.
Yeah.
But whenever you talk about Procreate Dreams, or you talk about Procreate and you do animation on there, you're actually limited to how many frames of animation you can make
on regular Procreate
for a single project.
Yes.
And I think it's only 27.
It's something like that.
And so I'm like, okay, time for me to kind of figure out what I need to do and how I can convey this in the shortest amount of time possible instead of making it super fluid like Disney style animation. And then because Disney animation is, and whenever you talk about the actual 2D animation, which I feel like is still better than 3D animation,
oh yeah,
get at me, but I'm just a bigger fan of 2D animation than 3D.
I mean, you gotta think those dudes were doing it frame by hand.
Yeah,
that's talent, bro.
It's the same thing with
talent.
Studio Ghibli. It's actually Ghibli.
Is it Ghibli?
It is Ghibli.
Oh,
with Studio Ghibli,
it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's
I mean,
that
those
hair that goes
those
into
dudes.
It. But then
the Studio Ghibli movies, I would go out on a limb to say that there's some stuff that's more detailed in their animation than what Disney does in the 2D stuff, or or they're just as equal as one another.
Yeah. Well, see, even Studio Ghibli is distributed by Disney, so that means they're somewhat affiliated with one another.
Oh yeah.
But like that two-dimensional animation is, you're limited to what you can do immediately.
Yeah. You gotta make perspectives work.
You gotta make
angles work.
And
there's a lot.
There's a whole lot that you have to think about, but at the same time, it forces you to be creative in how things move and all that. And I'm like, that's like my second or third time trying animation. My first one's literally just a goblin smoking a cigarette, and it's just a sketch.
Yeah.
Right. And I learned a ton from that, from literally just doing it. Is it the best animation in the world? Absolutely not.
No.
If I were to go back and redo it, could I do it better? Probably. Now that I have that experience of doing it, but the thing is like I don't care to. My focus is
we finished
to go,
it and we moved on.
Finished it, moved on. And I learned from this, like what I learned from it was more valuable than the thing itself.
Sure.
And to me, it's just a cool thing to have up as a thumbnail.
Sure.
Just something different.
I've been told I'm the smoking goblin by a certain commenter.
Really?
Yeah. He imagines me the one smoking the cigarette, and I'm like, valid.
Realistically, I'm the one that smokes more than you do on the podcast.
True.
Whenever I made it, I kind of did envision you as the smoking goblin.
If
you notice,
if the shoe fits, I guess wear it.
The smoking goblin is slightly taller than the other one.
Oh, I had noticed. I had noticed.
So whoever said that, now it's a good eye.
That's a good eye. In real life, I am taller than you.
Yeah, you're slightly taller than me, and so I had it to where that goblin was just slightly taller. And,
I think it's a good animation though. Like,
yeah.
not kind of praising ourselves. I mean, I thought that was good. I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud
looks
of
cool.
it. Yeah, I'm proud of it. It's
Yeah.
like as a project from beginning to end. There was a lot that I learned from it. I learned how to work my brushes better. I learned how to make movement read better
Yeah.
and whatnot. And so I'm like, all right, so it's not necessarily every single little bitty movement as I'm moving through it. It's sometimes you make movements that simulate movement whenever you've actually moved from like one side of the frame to the other,
right?
And you did it like only one frame of animation in between. It's like
it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. But I was really excited to do it because one of my dreams that I had as a kid is I wanted to be a cartoonist.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, what that meant was an animator, or I wanted to make cartoons. And so you can tell my art style is exceptionally cartoony whenever it's truly my style.
Right.
Because I can look at something and draw it and it be nearly 1-to-1 because that was a skill that I worked on.
Yeah.
It was not something that like I was talented in. I worked at doing
Which is
that.
where I come in. I am the total opposite.
Well. Still,
just we won't get into that. It's just totally opposite.
But like,
I mean, that's good though that you did that and you followed through with that. 'Cause,
right?
Like your style is very cartoony, but it looks stinking good.
Well, it's like whenever I make something that's in my style, it's cartoony immediately. Like you can look at the Realms book and a lot of the ones that I did in there. It's very much that same style.
Yeah.
And there'll be like little variances. I feel like I have a hair on my mouth. I keep like picking at my freaking mouth. Anyways, I kept feeling a hair like coming to my mouth or something.
Dude, just pour hot coffee on your head.
Oh, dude. A crown for a king. But no, like whenever I do my own personal, like, all right, I'm going to draw this in my style. What does that look like? It ends up being very cartoony, but it also at the same time, it feels like I drew it.
Right. Right.
Like I can look at a piece of anime and I can draw it nearly 1-for-1, not color it. I'm horrible at coloring.
Yeah.
But as far as the sketch work of it, I can do it nearly 1-to-1. But like I said, that's because it was a skill that I worked on.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever it comes to like trying to make something work like this, it really, really, like, the kid in me got really excited.
Right.
Because it was like, this is what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so that's why, for our tabletop stuff, whenever I get to do the art for it, I get really excited because I'm like, this is what I've always wanted to do. I wanted to be a cartoonist in some way, shape, form, or fashion.
Right.
I want to like do comics, do animation or something. And to me, I'm like, okay, this is like that first step into that, because we've talked about after we started to slowly figure out how to do animation, we're like, let's do this, because we can come up with some hilarious stories and stuff like that. And
I think you'd be more suited for animation than I would, honestly. I mean, I could do it, sure, but you definitely have more of a passion for it than I do.
Yeah, that excitement is there to cause me to push through the aggravation of it. Like that juice is worth the squeeze to me.
Yeah.
And that's also like another thing, whenever someone's, trying to do something creative, is like, if that passion is not there, do not try to muster it. Don't make it happen.
You're not going to be able to.
Because all that's going to do is just cause burnout. And then if you've not already been able to finish something and you're getting burnt out before you ever really even get started,
that's a rough road to go down artistically.
Might need to figure something else out. Maybe another kind of something is better for you. And it's like, I heard something. Check this out, and I thought this was actually really crazy. That your art that you make in your mind is 3 years ahead of what you can do right now.
Huh.
And I was like, whoa. That's true. That threw me for an absolute loop. And I like
interesting.
You sit back and think about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
And you're
kind of
like,
makes you want to do it.
It makes
for sure.
It makes you just like, well, then that means that if I keep doing it in 3 years, it's going to look like that.
Yeah. And then what is it going to look 3 years after that? And 3 years after that.
You know, the more and more you keep working at it and keep trying to, you know, do things and whatnot.
Especially if you find a style that you're passionate about. So, yeah, I could see that.
Oh, yeah.
Which, dude, I wish I could nail down a style. I have so many different ones. It's just like, I don't know.
That's where I disagree with you.
Okay.
You do have a style.
I guess.
No, you absolutely do.
Okay. Let's hear it. Let's hear
but
it.
the thing is, no, I can't nail it down to anything because it's.
I'm a hot mouth.
Yeah, I'm feeling romantical.
Yeah.
And,
Compliment me.
come over here and kiss me on my hot mouth. I'm feeling romantical. Dude, that's one of the funniest scenes in anything ever. Anyways, you do have a distinct style. Your problem is that you feel like you don't.
True.
And that's the furthest thing from the truth. Because a lot of the art pieces that you did for Realms, that is your style. Like, that through and through is your style. And then you started doing some concept art for a project that we have that we're working on, and it's still that same style.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck? What's your problem here? You're just like, I just really need to, like, find a style that I'm like, the medium that you use, the tool that you use dictates how it's going to look. Yeah. And I feel like for you, what that means, and this is me deconstructing your mind for just a second. So
that's fine. Go for it.
I feel like for you, whenever you say I need to find a style, what you actually mean is I need to find a medium that I like working with.
That's probably what I more mean, yeah.
Because anything that you have ever made for me, actually, anything that you have ever made, to me, looks the same.
Really?
Looks like Cheney has made it.
Yeah.
Right? Like the sculptures that you used to make, that were supposed to be art toys, but now I just call them sculptures because art toys are mass produced.
Yeah.
From that all the way down to the Mothman on the Secret Dungeon art from like way back when, to the colossal sandworm, the dune worm in the
art cards we're about to put out,
and the art cards that we're sending out with our next Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Even like in the actual book itself, they all look the exact same to me. They look like Cheney Herford drew it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, for you beat yourself up over wanting to find a medium that works for you, whenever I feel like instead, if you just stuck to a medium, you would feel more comfortable with that medium to the point where you wouldn't worry about finding your quote-unquote style.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe it's the medium I'm searching for.
Yeah.
Which I keep kind of going back to traditional, and that's fair. Everything he just said was fair statement, so no hard feelings. He's right. He is absolutely right. Because like I was saying earlier,
I see the art you create more than anybody else does, just like you see the art I create more than anybody else does.
True.
And so we're our own harshest critics about stuff.
That is true. And I wish I was more comfortable in drawing stuff, and I'm trying to, but I feel like traditional is like doing pen and paper is just where I'm at.
Yeah.
And maybe I just need to stick with it. I want to get into watercoloring because I love the way watercolor looks.
Yeah.
I also like the way markers look too.
I like the way the alcohol-based marker works.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
like the Copic style.
Yes.
A lot of people call them Copics. They're actually alcohol-based markers because if you're an artist and you like Copic markers, and you're like they're too expensive. Listen. There are plenty of brands out there that are just as good, if not better, than Copic for cheaper.
Yeah.
Everyone just uses Copic because
I got a set over here that's from Amazon that looks really stinking good.
Yeah, dude,
they do just as good as Copics.
They do really good.
And they were like $12 for a whole 24 case of them.
Yeah, I like the way that looks because it somewhat mimics the watercolor look.
Yeah,
like it gives that texture without the spillage.
Right.
Which I'm still fine with spillage for alcohol-based markers because it still kind of adds to that flow and style of it.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not as
it's not as messy.
It's not as messy
watercolor.
as watercolor can be.
Yeah,
you know.
And I may just stick with markers.
Yeah,
just order some more markers.
And I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that because, like Akira used to.
Akira Toriyama did it.
Yeah. And so he was,
Rest in peace, Sensei.
yeah, rip sensei.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I don't know. I really enjoy, because I feel like with traditional, I can control the pressure, I can control, the sharpness, I can control the angles. I'm in more control, and I guess I need to just stick with it and be more comfortable with it again.
Yeah.
But I've walked away from it for so long, and it's like I really need to come back and just do it. I did okay with digital.
yeah,
I mean, like, look at the stuff in Realms First Edition. I mean, that was all digital.
yeah, and it looks really good.
Yeah, and a lot of people really like it, and that's cool, and that's a compliment to me. Like, hey, I'm good enough to do that outside of my comfort zone, but I really want people to see what I can do within my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I want to see what I can do within my own comfort zone.
Right.
Which is, I guess, why I'm kind of pushing myself to write my own manga.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give out the name of it, or because it's a secret project. I'm not even going to talk about it. Just know that I am working on a manga.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll help me commit a little bit more to getting which I've started storyboarding it, or like getting the setting and the world. I'm starting to build on all that right now. Once I get that done, I'll start actually storyboarding and like actually doing panels and dialogue and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really want to do a manga and do it traditionally, black and white.
Yeah.
Maybe throw a splash of color in there.
I'm even looking at getting a different kind of ink pen.
Really?
Because I kind of want to mess around with, so like my favorite ink pen is like Pigma Micron.
I have some of those.
I love those ink pens. They're very, very nice. But the problem is like for line weight stuff, things that should have flow to it, it's one size, right?
Yeah.
And so I looked into getting like a nib pen, to where like the pen itself stays the same. The heads, you change the heads out on them. And typically manga artists will, if they do it traditionally, will use like they call them G pens is what they call them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen some people talk about
and
G
you
pens.
can get them on Amazon for fairly cheap.
Really?
Like $20.
Okay. I may look into
but
that.
the problem is you have to learn how to use that kind of ink, because it can get exceptionally messy really fast.
Okay.
And so like you got
Is it like the calligraphy pens kind of?
Yes. And the thing is like you got to know which way you can, do your brush strokes and all that stuff. And then whenever you dip it in the ink, you got to know how much is too much ink, or else it's just going to spill out on your page.
I think Vagabond is mostly done in G pen. That's what he said in the back of the book.
I wouldn't doubt it.
He's like, yeah, I did this one mostly in G pen. I'm like, I don't know what that is, but
yeah, that's what that
Vagabond is very impressive art.
Whenever we get done, I'll show you some stuff.
Yeah, show me some stuff for sure.
Yeah, because like the G pen, it's like that manga style ink pen is how you get that difference in line weight. And that's where I'm like, I need that.
Yeah,
I need that tactile feel as I do it.
Yeah,
So.
I may do some investigating and research, see if maybe it's something worth getting for me, and it might be.
Yeah.
Might be something worth checking out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I definitely, like for me, like I was saying earlier, like me being the opposite of you, like you're able to look at something and draw it one for one. I can't hardly do that.
Well, like I said,
I draw out of my head.
Right.
If I see it in my brain, I can draw it for the most part. And
see,
that's the
I do
weirdest
that
thing.
too, but like it comes out cartoonish, right?
Yeah.
But like I said earlier, whenever I can draw something one for
Every monster I draw is like I'd seen it in my head.
Right.
And I just drew it down.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. It's different. And it definitely has some drawbacks. I
mean,
feel like
it can
be limiting.
But I guess that's where like that practice comes into play, where it's like, okay, what can I do in this situation, and
to make it look better.
Right. And then, with being able to draw other people's stuff, it's like, okay, how did this person handle it?
Which I have started. I've kind of took up some advice from Briley.
Yeah.
Because she uses a lot of references.
Yes.
I'm about to start doing some weird stuff.
Like
with
pose reference
Yes.
is what you need. You for show need that stuff.
Yeah. I reckon what she does is she takes pictures of herself
Yeah.
doing those poses.
Yes,
It
a
mimics
lot
that.
of people do that.
I'm about to start doing something
A
very
lot of
similar.
people do that stuff. That's very common.
I'm about to start doing something very similar.
Yeah. I think, like, in the Extinction book,
Yeah.
whenever I drew that hand, there's a hand that's, like, in the middle of a splash page.
Yeah.
I literally just looked at my own hand.
And drew it.
And like, I just, like, held it in that position that I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, and I just went from there.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah. So I'm like, I knew the perspective that I wanted it,
Right.
you know, and so I just looked
did
at
it.
it and just did it that way,
Yeah.
you know,
And
then made it look all gross.
yeah. Which it looks really good.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, like I definitely need to just do more practicing and do more stuff. I mean, I got rough sketches of stuff that I'm working on, but
Yeah.
yeah, like I just need to keep at it. So, what time are we sitting on?
Right over an hour.
Oh, gross. It looks like you need to leave.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. I'm going to try not to choke as I say all this because I have to swallow.
Go ahead and swallow. You just swallow like Bevo.
Yeah.
Have you seen that guy who's just like,
I just gulp.
yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for listening. Leave us a like, leave us a comment, and we appreciate you listening. We hope you come back next time where we'll probably hate on something like birds or the grass or why the sun is so bright.
Yeah. Why it hot?
Why you hot?
No, why it hot?
Cut it.
Okay.